Hello there, and welcome to another episode, that is video 2 of the test series. And today we are going to run our tests on Prem.
Hii ni Tech na Msangi ya jishinde.com.
In the previous video, we ran our tests on Docker. And if you are curious to learn how to run them on Prem, this video is for you. The first step is basically to install your Business Central on premise. So we will go do a recap on how to install. Just go and search for download Business Central 2022 Wave 2 and then open the link that will be there. It will open this link and then choose your version and download. So for me, mine is the first one. Others would like maybe, I don't know, this is Australia. And all the versions, maybe Great Britain or the US version, but choose your version and then click on next to download. So once downloaded, here is my extracted download file. After you download, extract it, and you'll have this setup. I will go through installing Business Central. Okay, I was uninstalling it so that we start afresh from installing. Here we go. As usual, you just accept the end user license, go to advanced, choose an installation option, go to custom. For me, I run all on my computer. And remember, in from Wave 2 2022, the administration tool is not there. So you only have, okay, the administration shell will be used for changing the settings in the admin tool. So there is no admin tool, you just have all these. The previous version, the immediate previous version for this had the administration tool here as an option. So click on next. Microsoft wants us to use the shell. Then, okay, let me change this. Video 2 test series, just so that we can be able to have a differentiator, but we know it's BC 210. And the other thing I'll do is change this also. Let me use 1000 as the first, 1001. The port, they should follow sync or suit. Then the last one will be 1005. All the 6 ports, 5 ports, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Come on, there are 5. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, the 6 ports. Then I'd like to use the default instance. There is a database here installed. I should replace it for my case. If not, then you can use the default settings as is. So remember, our developer service endpoint is 10.04. Don't forget that. We'll need it when we want to download symbols. Every other thing is okay as at now. Credential is Windows authentication, and then I will apply to install. So as the setup installs, here in under your setup there is a test assemblies folder here. So let me open, is it here, test assemblies? I didn't mean this. What I want to show you is the applications, test framework, and then the test libraries. So when you download the DVD version of Business Central, it comes shipped with the test apps. So we have these test libraries where we have the assert, the any, the permission mock, and the variable storage. And we also have the test runner, the AL test runner imported. Okay, it's the AL test runner, Microsoft test runner app comes by default with this DVD version. So while installing for the on-prem, we will basically just use these apps that have been shipped for this particular version. So ideally in tests, when you're doing tests, we usually have the today I'll only use the assert, but you can use for others. Um, we set the dependency to the test app because this is an app that is already there. So in our test app, we depend on this other app. So we have installed successfully. Okay, here is what will happen. Um, they also ship us with a good, where is the assert? The source, there is an app file, a JSON file that will show us how the dependency will be. So if I open this JSON file, you can see that it has this option of the ID, the name, the publisher, and the version. And this is what we'll use in our dependencies. Okay, remember while creating test apps, we separate the main application from the test application because the test application will only be installed in our test environment. The other main application will be installed only in, okay, our main application will be published to the main server, but the test app will not be published to the main server. Why are you publishing a test app to the server? Because we don't just need the test, we need them we need them in the test environment. Okay, the second step after installing this, remember we have said there's no admin tool in our BC Wave 2 2022. Okay, I have opened our PowerShell integrated script editor with so many commands here, but we will go step by step. So after installing the app, okay, after installing our Business Central, let me go to IIS and open our BC first before we go to this next step. I'll click on sites and then go to Business Central and browse. What happened? Oh, okay, it's supposed to be test series and browse. Okay, I've just been opening multiple applications here. So here is localhost 8080 test series. So here is our app that we have just installed. Doesn't have a lot of complication. So if we go to extensions, in extension management, I want us to confirm that we don't have the assert library. Any library of the test or any performance mock, there's no performance mock. None of the libraries, the apps, the test libraries has been installed. So we would like to install the assert, library assert into now our new application. Okay. So the command to publish, I didn't want to have a lot of complication. So I just created this command for the sake of saving time. Remember, this is the command. Let me copy it and use a new PowerShell and add a little bit of some, let me just reduce it kidogo. So here, so you publish the nav app, you say the server instance. Remember the server instance is test series in our case, and the path will be now this path to your installation and to this particular app. Where did you install the app? You can even move this app to a different location and use a simpler path. Maybe mine is a bit complicated. Where is the app? I'll go here. I can pick it here from here and just put it somewhere here and have a simpler path. So this is not, as long as the app is published, doesn't have a lot of problems. Security, come on. So I'll copy that, move back here. So our path, so we are publishing the nav app server instance test series. The path is this. Here we go. Skip verification, and then we want to see all the details with the verbose, and then here we now sync our test series. Remember the name of the application is library assert. How do you get this name? We will go there again to applications, test assemblies, and then from here we can open the source and be able to open this app, and we'll know the name here is library assert. So that's how we got the name. Okay, then the version is also again in that same folder. That's where we have the version as well. Here is the version. Okay, the version is it's the same as the version for that at the Business Central, so no big deal here. Then and then verbose again, and then we install this nav application in our test series. Then the name is library assert, and then the version is this. Remember, you run your PowerShell ISE as an admin. Run as administrator, and then you can be able to type these commands. Okay, once done, I will select them, and then I run selection. So there's a problem. So there's no published extension. Okay. The path format is not supported. What is happening? Publish cannot bind parameter path to the target exception, and the given path format is not supported. And here, where is the path? Skip verification. Okay, skip verification is seen as part of the path, and I don't know why. Okay, let me run the first one alone, the publish, then run selection. So you cannot bind the path to the target exception setting. The path, given the path's format is not supported. Okay. How is the path? I believe it should be having. Where is my folder? DJCL Bisingine. Okay, so let's use this. The single quotation for the path. And try again. But I believe it should be double. Cannot bind the parameter path to the target. Okay, what's happening? Let me try again. Let me look at one of my published nav app. Okay. Is it skip verification that is having a problem? Should be that. Let me go back here. Skip verification. What if I don't skip verification? Let me run selected from here. Okay, maybe this skip verification was being seen as part of the path. There we are. We have published our application. And then we'll run the selection for synchronizing. I have decided to run it one by one. Then we now install our test series. Our library assert. Remember, here are our commands. Then now we can go to extension management. Oh, extension management, and then we go to assert, library assert. So it has been installed in our new installation of Business Central. Once installed, the next step here is for us to now create. The first thing that we should create is our main application, our main file that will be creating our code. So Control Shift P, I'll go. Control Shift P, I'll go. Restricted mode here. Let me Control Shift P, I'll go. Let me just open a new folder or something. L go. Something is wrong with this restricted mode of Visual Studio Code. Let me open a new instance of Visual Studio Code, and then Control Shift P, L go. Come on, Visual Studio Code. What's happening to my file today? Okay, let me open a folder. Today it is the system today is just wants to give me some character development, but it's okay. Okay, I've opened that whole application. And then let me try now. Okay, Control Shift P. L go is here. So we want to store our app in basically D, and then our test app, or our main app. So our main app, this is the first one. Then we set the target to be that, and then we will trust it. Then we'll have our own server here. It's on-prem. It will be localhost, and here the user or the server instance is test series under Windows. And remember, before we go there, what we'll need to do here is to make sure that we get the port that we should use, the developer service endpoint. Okay, so remember now we clearly should be using the admin. We should be using our admin environment. We should not go back to what we have been doing, the Business Central administration shell. We should be using the shell instead of the other the normal Business Central administration environment. Okay, this let me open the file location for this Business Central administration, and you can be able to see that if I show more options in the properties, it has got a target. The target is a module for the nav admin tool. So for my love of the PowerShell integrated script editor, which I find more and more, it's easier to use for me. So I'd rather use this than the blank PowerShell. I'll create a new script. So this one looks like another version of Visual Studio Code because I can add scripts or whichever thing I want. So in the PowerShell, I can specify this as a nav admin module, and this is the location. So and then I will import the module, nav admin module. So you need to import the module before you can be able to basically run commands that are related to Business Central. So I will just run this script. And so the first command that we need to get to know is to get, is supposed to be get nav server command. Let me confirm that I don't cram commands. I have them here, all of them. We are sorted today. Where is it? It should be get nav something, yeah, get nav server configuration. We'd like to get the nav server configuration of our file and be able to set it out to a notepad, because we'd like to open it in a way. So let me just run this first with the test series. Get nav server configuration. The server instance is test series. I run this selection. So the nav server configuration will show us all the configuration of our nav server, like the okay, what am I interested in here? Like the developer service. Remember, we need the developer service endpoint to be enabled before we can be able to continue. So here it is. Where is the developer? The developer service endpoint. So enabled here, you see it's false. We didn't enable it while installing. As well, we have the test automation. Where is it? After T. Test automation enabled here is true. But you can see the readability of this is not good. So that's why I did something like this to be able to have an output file for the server configuration and be able to read it from there. So in this output file, I have created this output file, and if I use this command, notepad, and then I set this, it will open the output file that has been created. So this output file will open the configuration in a notepad, which is easily searchable, like having developer service enabled will have it false. So the other command that we need to run is to now enable this developer service endpoint and then restart. So I do have the command here, so I don't want to do a lot of writing here and there. I'll just paste it back here. So set nav server configuration, key name, developer service enabled, server instance is the test series, and then the key value is true. And then we will restart our test series app and be able to run this. So I will automatically just run this selection, because we will enable the developer service endpoint and restart our instance before proceeding. So we have installed our Microsoft Assert library. Remember, if you would like to install all the others, maybe the performance toolkit, you still need to run the process of installing. But I'm using one app for the sake of this demonstration. And then after you've done that, you enable your developer service endpoint if you didn't enable it while installing, or any other configuration that you need to change, you use this particular setting. And the other thing to note is, what is our developer port, the port that we should use to run the developer endpoint. I will open this file again and then search for developer, or search for the port. And the port will give me the client services port, and the developer services port is 1004. So this is what I'll use in my development. In my Control Shift P here, I can go and say the developer, the port. Come on. The port should be that. So we are done here in our setup for our main app. Save for what? Save for downloading the symbols, because we should download the symbols, and they have been downloaded. So what is our app doing? What do we want to do with our app? This is the basic thing of saying hello world. But okay, we can do better. I believe we can do better than just a hello world. Okay, let me just delete this file. We don't need it. Create a new folder. Where is it getting located? New folder. New folder, and then okay, we are good. What should I set up? Let me just call it setup. And then I will add a new file that will be a code unit that will be just set up. Then finish, create a procedure that should be a global procedure, verify setup, and it will return okay, is GL setup. Okay, general setup. Is GL setup. Okay, let me just use that name. So the variable that we'll need here is a record of general setup, general ledger setup. Then I will use the short version of this and get it first. Then I will exit the value of gl setup dot. Okay, what is something that has come on, I think the video has gone beyond my estimated time, but we'll still push on. Allow posting from. So let me say allow posting from, and so the gl setup dot allow posting from is not equal to blank, and the gl setup dot allow posting to is not equal to blank. So when these setups dot allow posting to is not equal to blank, because we want to run this test to verify that this is one of our tests, to make sure that the posting can happen. Like if we have our GL setup, it means the users, when they try to post, especially if we have just gone deployed our application, or we would like to test the application, we would like to know that if the user has just the setup of the GL is working well. So that's the first test that you're doing. Okay, once we have done that, we now need to create our test app. This is the main app and we need the test app. But before we do that, let's just publish. Let's just publish this application. It has published. I think there's something here. We ought to have used this in our link. Let me just do that right now in our launch.json and have this like this. So we have published our application. The app name is what? I know we can't be able to test anything. The name is our main app. We have published it. So if we search in our extensions for our main app, we should see our app. In our extension, our main app, there we are with our published application. Now we need to create our test application here. So we will use Control Shift P with AL Go again and launch our test application. But here, before we do that, we need to have the test application in this same workspace. So let me save the workspace as our main app. Okay, so we are in this workspace. And then I do a Control Shift P and then I do an AL Go. It should be in D. I think AL. I don't know. Now this is our test app. Same settings. I trust it here. We are using our own server and nothing needed there apart from saying that this is Windows and this is localhost 8080 with the server instance as test series. Okay, at this point now we need to add dependencies, but we now need to add this folder to the workspace of our main app. I don't know where I saved that. Okay, where is our main app? We want to add it to this workspace. So when we add it to this workspace, the workspace will enable us have all the two applications in one. So here is our test app and here is our main app. For being able to do how do I want to put it? To make our work easier, that's why we are adding these apps in the same location here. Okay, and the next thing that we'll do here is add dependencies to this. Now the test app will have dependencies from our main app and the test libraries. So in the test app, the first thing, I'll also delete the hello world. We are not saying hello. And be careful in the test app as well to make sure that in our app.json we have a different number series. So let me use 150 just to avoid the conflict, because you won't see an error. You'll only see an error while publishing. Let me use that series. I believe it should work. Oh, I've just remembered something. We need to import the license to be able to run tests. Okay. I will import the license, but let me just create the code. But I will test it without the license and see if it will work. But ideally, we need to import the developer license. Okay, the package cache. Okay. I get it. So it can't get our package. So here is our test app, and here are our dependencies. So the dependency, we'll go back to our installation folder, go to this library assert, and open this JSON file. Okay. Where is the file now? Here it is. Then we can see that these are the dependencies that we need up to here, the version, but we'll delete some. And in our test app, the first dependency is on this library assert. So here is the dependency. I will just remove the description, and we need this file. The dependency is the JSON format, of course, will be this with squiggly brushes. So the second dependency will now be on our main app. So our main app.json is here. Here it is. Just copy. You don't need to cram. This is the dependency that we need here. Come on. I copied a blank file again. Where is our main app? Our main app is here. So we need this dependency on this side. So we are done doing that. So at this point, then where is the port? I didn't say the port because it might not be able to see. Our developer port is this 10004. At this point, we now need to download the symbols for the app. We download the symbols, and the symbols have been downloaded successfully. So we have the symbols for our library assert and for our main app, as we can verify in our test app al packages here. Here is the library assert. Where is our main app? And I can't see our main app. but it's published. Base application, I don't know. Default publisher, our main app. Let me create the package. Our test app. Control Shift B, download symbols again. Okay, I don't know why this dependency hasn't been picked up. This is the ID, this is the name, the publisher, and the version. Okay, no worries. Let's just proceed and see if there is any problem, because I can't see the main app here in our applications that has been installed. Okay, so from our test application, let's add a new folder here. From here, just add a new folder, test app, and we'll create a new file. For me, I just need a test code unit, and the name will be test gl setup, and I will finish it, and then I will say the subtype is test, and I will have a method that has been annotated with test, and then a procedure to test our GL setup. So if we use this t test case, we can say so test GL setup. Let me just simplify GL setup. Okay, so we will only use the code unit to assert if it's true. So what we'll need here is the library assert. I believe it should be in this code unit, library assert, and then we use the short version of the lib assert, and then what we will assert is, okay, what are we given? We have been given a code unit from our main application. How did we call it? We called it test GL setup. No, it's not that. From our main app, the code unit name was setup. The code unit name was setup. Okay, so the setup code unit will be able to, we can even just go directly to libasat dot is it should be equal, let me use is equal, are equal. So what are we comparing? The expected variant is true, and it's being compared to this setup dot is gl setup, and the error is please set up the allow posting from and allow posting to in gl setup. So that's it. I've just used one specific, I've just tested. Okay, I don't need this now. I'm asserting if they are equal. If this setup gives us a true. Okay, at this point, I'll just build this test application. Now we are talking of this test application, and run the test application. So now it's time to run the test application. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Why am I having this yellow screen? Nonetheless, it has been launched to the server. Localhost 8080. Okay, whatever. We will look at that later. So here is our test application. I believe it has loaded. Let me refresh again and search for AL test tool. There is no AL test tool. Come on. So it has been renamed. No problem. As long as we can be able to get what we want. So we can see even in our extensions, we do have our main test and our main app and our test app. So we have published test tool. Then we get the text code units and we select this particular test code unit known as test GL setup. Here it is. And so we just need to run this GL setup with our tests and be able to see if the assert will be true or false. Has it run? There's no result. Let me run again. All code units. Okay. There's no error. There's no hint of success. Okay. Skip test 0, tests not executed 1, successful 0, failed tests 0. Okay, something is not right. Get the test, select the test code units, test GL setup because we only have that installed. Okay, run all. Okay, the test framework has not been installed, and that's probably why it's not running. The test framework hasn't been installed in here. I believe so. The test framework hasn't been installed, but we can do that. We can install the test framework. Boom, boom, boom. Is it supposed to be test runner? Not the test runner. Testability tools. I feel so blank with this now. Let me try installing this and see if this is the cause. I've copied it and I will publish and install the app from here. I'll publish the app, then set the link. The name is basically test runner. Okay, the server instance is the same. Yeah, it is test runner. and then we'll have the verbose flag, then that and that. The rest remains the same. I run selected. I've installed the test runner just like that. Then I will sign out, sign in again. Will I get the AL test tool? No. There we are with the AL test tool from the test runner. Then we will run selected tests. Okay, Docker does most of these things. When you're using importing the command, you just set those parameters and it installs for you. But this one seems to need a little bit of some pumping. So we'll get the text code units, test GL, and then run tests for all the code units. And we have executed the test. So the test runner is what was missing. So the file test is one. So assert is the error message are equal. Please set up the allow posting from and allow posting to. And we'll now go to the general ledger setup. Set the allow posting from alone, for instance, and see if when we run the test again, we do have that. The changes in the test method cannot be saved because some information. Why? L test tool, then we run. Some information is not up to date. Delete everything. And get test code units again and run the tests for all. And finally, make sure that we do now the clean work of having both allow posting from and allow posting to. Then we will delete the lines. Then get the test code units and run selected tests, and we have our success here. Okay, it's been quite a ride, probably because I've not been using this on-prem version to do the tests, but now I believe we have been able to do it from the beginning to the end. And I believe you have been able to learn something on how to install the test framework on premise. But this is just a guide. Don't hard code everything. You can explore your own way of doing things. Just be open and try a few things here and there. And I believe you'll be able to get the best out of this. So I will see you in the next video when we will run the tests via PowerShell in this test series. See you there.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss the next one.